I keep doing the special thing I told you where told you guys about, where if you run off screen and jump right when the point tally up is about to show, yeah, you can sort of come back on and jump around during while the points are tallying up. And so I've done that every time so far. And so what normally happens is after the signpost stops spinning, it sort of removes it takes away your controls and automatically runs you off screen, and then you just can't, and then you just sort of sit off screen while the points tally up. But yeah, if you just sort of run off screen before that happens and then jump right when the points come up, then you can come back on and do stuff, and it's kind of neat. So this invincibility here is really important if you like to do a little... There's a challenge that I like to do for this zone. So everyone hates underwater zones in Sonic the Hedgehog games, and they're just sort of really irritating and difficult for a lot of people. But, oh, this is bad. So there's a challenge I like to do in these games, and I'm not going to be able to do it. I'm going to have to hit a bubble. So there's but in most of the later Sonic the Hedgehog games, it's pretty much very limited as far as how much you're required to go underwater. In fact, most of the later Sonic the Hedgehog games, you can pretty much go through all of the underwater stages without ever actually going underwater. That is not the case in Sonic the Hedgehog 1. The underwater segments of the Labyrinth Zone are largely required, but they're very short. And I'll maybe finish talking about this after we go through... You know what? Yeah, there's nothing to talk about in this special stage, so I'll just continue down this sort of train of thought. But yeah, the underwater segments of the Labyrinth Zone are very short in general, to the point where it's actually possible to get through almost all of them without ever hitting a bubble. Because yeah, they're short enough that you can just go through like normal without having to worry about ever collecting bubbles to refill your air. You can just get through each of those underwater segments in enough time to not drown. Just doing it that way. As you can see, we got them all. Gotta catch them all. So we'll be getting a good ending out of this, which basically very, very slightly different when we get to the end. And yeah, so basically that's a challenge that I've sort of set for myself. Right here we've got an infinite vertical scrolling segment. Sonic will just keep on falling down like this forever until you jump onto the right platforms. And he's got kind of a weird angle that makes it difficult to sort of hit this jump, but if you're holding down, you get more of a horizontally angled jump. So I'll just maybe show that off. So this is, yeah, you get kind of that jump if you're not pressing anything, and you get this jump if you're holding down, which is much more convenient. So if you're holding down on the control pad during that segment, it makes it a lot easier to sort of break out of that loop. And so anyways, back to the challenge, which is, yeah, basically to go through the Labyrinth Zone without ever touching a bubble, which is, it's rather challenging, and that invincibility I mentioned way earlier is crucial, because you saw I was greatly delayed by that one enemy with the rotating spiked balls. Yeah, he just delayed me greatly, and it's crucial if you're going to do that challenge that you need to go really quickly with that invincibility there, so in order to make it to that enemy before your invincibility runs out. You can also just tank the hit, but that's a bit risky and makes it more difficult to get your special stage at the end of that particular act. So yeah, I was gonna try and do that challenge for you on this run, but I kind of failed it. So that's a bit of a shame, but you know. And actually, this segment here is by far the most difficult. I'm actually not sure that it's, or maybe it was the next, no, it's this segment here. This underwater segment is actually by far the most difficult to get through without getting a bubble. And actually, I'm not entirely sure that it's possible. I don't think I've ever done it. But all of the other underwater segments, apart from this one, it's possible to get through them without ever collecting a bubble. They're just very short, and you can get through them very quickly if you try. And again, just, whoops. Oh, ooh, this could be tricky. Oh, I'm done for. Give me a bubble. No, I'm gonna drown. Oh, what the heck happened there? I got swept off screen. That doesn't normally happen. Normally he falls down when you drown. Whoa, that was really strange. I've never seen that before. I'm kind of glad that I managed to get that on camera now. So, okay, well, let's just go through this like normal. So, whoa. I've actually never died in that particular segment before. That's actually really nasty. I was about to say how it's not actually... Like, a lot of people have a lot of difficulty with these underwater segments just because it kind of forces you to go real slow, but you need to get through quickly in order to avoid drowning. And wow, this right here is really mean. Wow! I've never actually... Yeah, normally I have my invincibility still going by the time I get there, but wow. This is actually a really nasty lamppost to start from. I was gonna say how this actually isn't that difficult, just because you get these little bubble sections, these little, yeah, the bubble spawn points are like very frequent, and it's very, if you just sort of take your time and stop at each one, it's very easy to get through these underwater segments without drowning. So yeah, you can sort of go through real slow and get all of the bubbles and get through easily that way, or you can just go real fast and not even worry about the bubbles and get through easily that way as well. And yeah, it's just not too difficult, in my opinion, to get through the underwater segments of the Labyrinth Zone, is what I was gonna say, but then I got to that really, really challenging segment with the, yeah, that awful signpost where it gives you no rings and puts you in that awful segment with the Orbinaut and the overhead spike ball. Oh, it would have been nice to bounce off all 5 of those just for fun, but... And speaking of difficulty, one thing I actually do think, though, that is very difficult is the boss of this zone, which we are coming up on. Basically, it's a bit of... the way this one works is very different compared to the others. Basically, it's going to be a big, long, vertical chase segment where, yeah, no special weapons or anything on Robotnik's little egg-mobile, or whatever you call it. He just basically just sort of runs up this vertical shaft and tries to get away from you. And you might think that this would be another infinite vertical scrolling thing, kind of like the start of the level. Whoops. Where, yeah, you just sort of go up forever until you hit him 8 times. Oh! But no, it's actually got a finite length, and you can just sort of go up and not even worry about hitting him at all. And yeah, really, you have a lot more time to get through there than you think. You might think you need to like go up really quickly and keep hitting Robotnik to finish there, but really you can just kind of take your time and, yeah, not worry about hitting him at all, and it's much, much easier to get through that way, and it's actually not that long either. But anyways, you can, however, if you do get 8 hits on him, he will kind of blow up, and that's kind of fun to see, and I almost got it. I think I had 7 hits there, but I couldn't quite get it. And actually, if you can get the final hit while the capsule is on screen, like the capsule that containing the animals, and if you do actually get the final hit while the capsule is on screen, the capsule sort of flashes with Robotnik and ends up like turning solid white, the same way that Robotnik does when he's flashing. So the Orbinauts in the previous level would shoot off their spike balls so that you could kill them then. These ones don't shoot off their spike balls, so these are it's completely impossible to kill these guys without taking a hit, which is a bit of a shame. I really dislike enemies that I can't kill in video games in general. So, yeah, not too happy about these enemies, but, oh, what's that? Yeah, you can! Again, those nice little bits with just, like, very, very precise timing and mastery over sort of, Sonic's, being able to control Sonic's jumps. Yeah, you can actually kill those guys without taking a hit. It's much, much easier to do it from underneath. The timing is just much more forgiving, but you can actually do it from above as well. And if you mess it up in that particular spot, you get scrolled, you get knocked off screen and die, which is always fun. I was kind of anticipating that happening. So actually, I'm kind of lower on lives than I typically am at this point in the game as a result of that awful signpost I got stuck at earlier, so I am actually going to have to be a bit more careful than I'm used to being Okay, I'd like to get at least one overhead shot for this LP, but yeah, it's very, very difficult to kill those guys from above without taking a hit. I'd like to be able to do it just once for this LP, just to show it off, but, you know, I wouldn't be surprised if I'm not able to do it. Nope. Very, very tough timing there to be able to do that. There was a time, way back in the day, when I used to play this game, like, all the time, and I did as a kid. This was one of the few Genesis games that I actually owned. I did most of my video game playing when I was young through rentals, and there are very few games that I actually, like, owned myself. And Sonic the Hedgehog was one of the few, whoops, that I actually did own. Not quite. Okay, one more shot. Nope. Very, very tough to make that. And, oh right, I've got all the emeralds, so I don't even need to worry about the special stage or anything like that. So this is what normally happens when you get to the end of a stage. Yeah, that just automatically did that there. He just sort of runs off screen, and then from this point on, I can't control Sonic whatsoever. And it's actually a bit of a useful trick, actually, if you can do what I said before in order to be able to run back on screen and sort of control Sonic during the end of level point tally, just because it makes it much easier to jump into the special stage ring. Oh, really? I thought that would have been it. One more shot. There it is. Okay, very precise timing. You've got to get it in just the right spot when the orbs are aligned just right, and I think I messed up something important. No, I didn't. Oop. Kind of want to take the high path here, just... in general, in Sonic games, the high paths tend to be much faster. I think I can actually... Yeah. Yeah. I just love doing that. No, just, like I said, hate invincible enemies. If an enemy can kill me, I should be able to kill it. That's just, you know... That's just, you know, eye for an eye kind of thing is the way I like my video games. And it just, yeah, sucks if an enemy can kill you without you being able to reciprocate the violence upon them. And so this right here is actually a nice little bit of game design. So this here is actually our last opportunity for a special stage. The zone after this, you can't get any special stages, and Act 3, obviously, we can't get the special stage. So this is the last opportunity for special stages, and as you saw, they give you 50 rings right near the exit here. So if you got just one more emerald to go, and this is your last shot in this act, your last shot to get the final special stage, you can just always get it, just by getting those rings there right before the end of the stage. So that's kind of cool. I like that.